welcome to our number four episode of Holy Shiitake, the podcast where we talk about Japanese culture. We kind of compare Japanese culture with Western culture. And we talk about random shit that happens in Japan and all the weird things that we may or may not know about. And today, as always, I am with Jenny. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Florent.
How's it
You
going?
forgot you forgot about comparing it to the Philippines as well because there are some differences.
Yes,
But anyway,
that is correct. I said we were comparing it with Western cultures, but also with
hmm
other Asian cultures like the Philippines, since
exactly.
that is where you come from in
hmm
the first place. Welcome in the chat, Thomas and Amber in the chat. Thomas, thank you. 2 month subscription. That's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
before we start. So today
hmm
the topic is going to be schools in anime. Right?
hmm
That's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna
Exactly.
we're gonna look at how things are portrayed in anime, what schools look like, the uniforms, and kind of school life, and we're gonna see if that's basically what's going on in real life with real schools, right? And
Yeah.
and and you are pretty well placed to talk about it because you are a teacher yourself,
Exactly.
right? You do work with young kids mostly, right? No.
Well, on my first job at the countryside in Kyogoku, I did work with almost all ages
Okay,
in
all right.
schools. So I worked from the Hoikuen. It means kindergarten, and then I also teach like once a week at the elementary school. We call it shogako.
Okay.
And then on Mondays to Fridays, excluding Tuesdays, I teach in the chugako, which is the middle school.
All right.
Yeah, so in the countryside, we only have until the middle school, so I don't normally teach high school. But some of the teacher friends that I have, they do have that though.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So yeah, I
hmm
mean, you have experience, so you can talk about that.
Yep.
But before we get to that, I just want to do a little thing. Today is September 22nd. Here,
hmm
here in Canada, September 23rd for you. And it
hmm
is the birthday, I don't know if you know her, it is the birthday of Junko Tabei. Do you know who,
Unfortunately, I don't know.
you don't
Who
know
is
who
that?
Junko Tabei is? So Junko Tabei is a Japanese woman,
Uh huh.
or was, because she actually died about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And she was the first woman to actually reach the summit of Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Really?
And she is also the first woman who climbed the seven tallest mountains in the world.
What happened to her then?
She died of old age.
Oh, okay. At
Yeah.
least she didn't die in the mountain.
I don't believe so. No, no, no. She was born in like 1939, and
Wow.
she died 3 years ago. So she lived for what?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
she lived quite a bit. She lived for a long time. But yeah, I just don't know. Kind of thought it would be interesting to start with that.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, before we begin with the main topic, I'd like to ask you what's your favorite anime that is related to schools?
Okay, my favorite anime related to school. Um,
This will actually define our age as well.
I know. I should have expected that question, and I was not prepared. I was not prepared.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead.
Thomas in the chat says Bible Black. I have no idea what that is, to be honest.
Oh, it's I have no idea too. Bible Black.
Well, there you go.
I've heard of it though. It's I think it's an anime in the early 2000s. Please correct me if I am wrong. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Our ages.
Okay,
Bible Black.
I'm gonna ask Google.
All right. Google it. Google it.
Google it. Bible Black in what? It's a video game. It's saying it's the video game.
Okay.
Oh, TV series. Okay. 2001. It's still.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I'm right. Early 2000s.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I
Uh,
have to.
I'm
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you two know what it's about. It says in the chat. Okay, let me not actually open the page. I'm kind of scared.
All right. Why?
Um. Okay, so I'm not going to show what it is because Thomas is gonna get me banned from Twitch.
Oh, okay. Is it like something sexual or too violent or something?
A little bit of both, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just hentai.
Oh my.
Essentially.
Okay, everybody's waiting for answer. What is your favorite anime that is related to school?
That is related to schools. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say one of my favorite animes that do have a lot of scenes in school would be probably Evangelion.
Oh man, that's like overrated. Okay, I'm not gonna react on your favorite anime, but
I mean, yeah,
okay.
like a lot of people say it's overrated. I really enjoyed it at the time. I haven't rewatched it in a long time, so I don't know how it stands right now. But
Okay.
back then it was a really good one. Another one I liked a lot, that has a few scenes in schools would
Mm-hmm.
be Escaflowne.
Oh, that one. I haven't watched that though.
I really enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I can't really think about anime that like actually takes place in school stuff. Like it's usually not my kind of stuff. No, I'm more of a.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm a guy, so I'm more about action and stuff, right?
All right.
And I feel that a lot of the and I can be wrong, but a lot of the anime that are kind of centered around school life,
Mm-hmm.
are more shoujo stuff than shonen.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I feel
What is shoujo if the listeners are not aware of that
well,
word?
shoujo is basically more aimed at girls,
Okay, there
right?
you go. Yeah.
It's usually more centered about romance and drama and stuff like that, right? Whereas
Oh, okay.
whereas shonen is more for guys. It's more about action and people
Mm-hmm.
beating each other up and monsters and stuff like that.
Okay, so I'd like to share mine this time.
What's yours?
Okay, so there are some anime that have been very popular in the Philippines. The number one, of course, for the girl anime types is Sailor Moon. Okay.
Of course, of course.
So back in the day, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna tell the year. Back in the day, 1995, I was in, yeah, I was, um, 1995. I was in fifth grade. Yay! Okay, shout out to the people my age.
Yeah.
So, Sailor Moon was first introduced in the Philippines in the year 1995, and it was a very unique, as we call, cartoon because we were not familiar with the word anime.
Yeah.
We even call it anime. So, it was first aired on Channel 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's also a new TV network. And of course, as a teenager, well, I was 12 at that time. I was not yet a teenager, but um, no, I wasn't 12. I was 11. But anyway,
Uh,
I don't want to talk about my age.
Close
So
enough.
let's talk about Sailor Moon. So I was amazed by the uniforms because we don't have any uniforms like that, like the sailor outfit. In Japan, they call it sailor fuku.
Yeah.
So fuku means clothes in Japanese. This is very unique for us in the Philippines because we typically have a white blouse and a checkered skirt,
Okay.
which reaches like almost our feet, literally.
Yeah.
That's how long our skirts are. And then when we saw the Sailor Moon anime, we were a little bit shocked by the length of the skirts.
Yeah. And that's something we're gonna talk about because
Exactly.
that's one of the differences between anime and real life, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and my sister Chloe, she had been playing PlayStation 2 games. No, not PlayStation 2. No, PlayStation 3 at that time, and she her one of her favorite games was Persona,
Persona. Okay. That's a
and
pretty popular
I
game. That
yeah.
that does
Oh, sorry.
like the game itself is actually centered about the high school, right? That's where the whole thing takes place.
Yeah, and I was just watching her play the game because I'm not really a RPG kind of game player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking at the costumes, no costumes, the clothes of the characters, and to be fair, some of them are pretty close to the real life Japanese school uniforms. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I mean, like what I feel, and like from the very little research I've done, I'm not gonna lie, I've done very little research on that for today's episode, is that the like anime, I feel typically take a lot more liberties with uniforms when it's for the girls
Mm-hmm.
than it is for the guys, and maybe it's because of the simplicity of the uniforms for the guys. Like it's pretty simple, right? So just know the
Mm-hmm.
dress pant, the blazer. It's straight. There's like nothing fancy. It's just black or navy blue, and like there's not much to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a girl uniform, because of it's more of a sailor thing. Um, I feel that anime can kind of like go crazier with that. They can play with the length of the skirts, the colors, and like the designs of the blouse and the blazers, like the bows. It's gonna be a bow. It's gonna be a necktie, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it. I feel that yeah, uniforms for guys in anime maybe are closer to what it is in real life than the girls are.
Well, yeah, but so I sent you some pictures to compare. Like, first, let's talk about the almost close to reality design of school uniforms.
Yeah.
Let's go with my favorite Sailor Moon first.
Yeah. Oh, I just had it on the screen actually. Yep.
hmm Okay, so you can see that three of them. So Ami, uh, Usagi and Makoto are, well, to be fair, their designs are almost close to reality. So the length of the skirts are almost real. It's reaching to their knees, yeah. And in fact, the more realistic one is Makoto's Sailor Jupiter's. So the length of her skirt is pretty much longer than the rest of them.
Yeah.
This is
She's the one
very,
in the
yeah,
back, right?
this is very common. And if you notice, Ray's uniform is a bit short. Well, I wouldn't say a bit short. This is very short.
Super short.
So maybe if people, like some people who are Googling about Japanese school uniforms, if you notice some of the Google images are like close to the anime types, like the skirts are really short.
Hmm.
I don't think those are real life uniforms. They are cosplays.
Yeah, yeah.
So the normal length of the skirts would be okay. I gave you three examples of the actual uniforms. Let's go with the blazer type.
Blazer type.
Yeah, the blazer type. So there's a winter style blazer type and the summer style
Oh, right.
type.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. Yeah, I found it. Oh, all right.
So if you notice, this is pretty common in anime too. The design of the uniforms are almost close to,
Hmm.
what you see in the like slice of life type of anime.
Right.
And then I also sent you a picture of Sakamoto desu ga.
Yes.
So Sakamoto desu ga is one of the newest anime that have recently been launched in Japan. I think that was sometime in, I don't remember if that was in 2015 or so, but this
I have no idea, man. Don't ask me.
so this anime is about a guy they call Sakamoto, and he's like the Chuck Norris in school, because
Okay.
all the guys were like envious about him because he's so perfect, he's so smooth, he's like the crush of the entire school, and the bullies are trying to do something to destroy him, but
Okay.
they just can't. So yeah, I
Even
said
has the anime glasses.
yeah, exactly. So if you look at the uniform of Mr. Sakamoto, that is an actual school uniform that is mostly the common one
right?
here in
And
Japan.
that's kind of what I was saying, right? I feel that the
Mm,
uniforms for the guys are like closer to reality than the ones for the girls. I guess it depends on the anime as well, but
exactly.
yeah.
Well, the type that Mr. Sakamoto is wearing is called Gakuran,
Okay.
and it is almost all colors are black.
Right.
I have never seen anything blue or green like the one we see in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Right.
I've never seen anything like that, but the most common is the black one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then next we have the most common one, which is the sailor fuku.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, are you showing the actual one?
I am.
So that is what usually Sakamoto wear
Okay.
and all the other common real life slice of life anime.
Mm-hmm.
And actually during the summer you can see that this is one of the uniform that the Evangelion guy who, oh my god, I forgot his name. Shinji, there we go. Oh my god,
Sh-
why would I forget his name?
Shinji,
Shinji Ikari. Oh god, I'm so old.
the crybaby.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that is a very true to life
Mm-hmm.
uniform. The one that Rei Ayanami, is it? Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I feel. Anyway, yeah, Rei Ayanami and Asuka Langley. I think I have seen uniforms like that, but not as light colored as that one.
Okay.
It would probably be dark colored, almost like navy blue or black.
Mm.
So this is like the most common colors in Japanese real life schools. It's either black, navy blue, gray, or yeah.
And it kind of makes sense that like in terms of if you just kind of look at the practical side of it, right? In terms of maintenance, it's easier to maintain something that's black or dark blue than something that's like light blue or green or
Exactly.
something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I mean they do wear white shirts, which can be a pain, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of white, but that's just me.
Me too. But the reason why is, to protect them from from perspiring from the heat, especially in
Mm,
Tokyo, because in summer, Tokyo is crazy hot.
yeah.
Like seriously hot. Here in Hokkaido, though, some girls actually do the white blouse thing, but we usually have a vest. So the girls here wear a vest to cover the white blouse.
Okay.
Because sometimes there are days where it's windy and the winds in Hokkaido are quite cold,
Oh.
especially in the northern parts of Hokkaido. Oh my God, I just burped. Sorry about Oh God. Excuse my French. Sorry guys, I just ate breakfast.
Hmm.
Yeah, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, okay. So let's talk about the school buildings.
Yes, yes. So school buildings are like a pretty standard thing in anime, right? Especially anime would not have school. Like I think everybody kind of, or just everybody who kind of watches anime and
Mm-hmm.
and even kind of knows about anime in Japan stuff, like has an idea of what schools look like in anime. They're pretty typical, right? Like it's big square building
Exactly.
that has like the clock tower in the middle of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's
So are you showing the anime one, the anime version?
I am watching. Yes, I'm showing the anime version right now.
Okay, so that is one of the most common school buildings, as we all know.
Yeah.
And actually, no matter how old the anime is, like 30 years ago until the school buildings in anime of today, it's all the same
They,
because most yeah.
yeah, they really do look the same. Like I remember when I used to watch anime way back in the days, like they already look
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like it's always the same kind of structure, right? Like that big blocky thing with the tower, like big ass windows. Uh, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, of course, I loved watching anime that involved schools because I was a student back then.
Hmm.
I did believe that everything happening in anime is also happening in real life in Japan,
Yeah.
especially the buildings. And it's funny because when I see school buildings in the Philippines that are quite the same, most of the architecture, like the Japanese school architecture, are the same in the Philippines when it comes to universities, though.
Right.
So we have quite a number of universities that are similar to to
Okay.
Japanese high school buildings, but the elementary, the kindergarten are not really related or not really
Hmm.
close to the design.
Okay.
Anyway, so I have googled over a very close to the anime Japanese architecture of Osahime School entrance. This was a shot taken by John A. Beck of
Yeah.
DeviantArt,
I'll
yeah.
put all the links and credits in the description for the video.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to check it out, they can actually do it themselves.
All right. And if you can see in the picture, it almost looks exactly from the photo of the anime version.
It really does. Like it has that weird, not weird, but like that like main thing, like in the front with the clock.
Yeah.
Um, although like one of the differences that that clock tower thing doesn't also like it's not an entrance. And a lot of anime it is also the entrance. Like we see in a picture here, you can actually see the entrance underneath, and not quite in this one. But it's interesting.
Okay.
Like what like it makes me wonder because like basically they have a very kind of they have a certain mindset when it comes to building schools, right? Because they all
Mm-hmm.
kind of look the same. At least no,
They do.
I guess at those like higher level of schooling, because like you said, like for the kids and stuff, it might be a little different. But it's like it's actually planned this way, right? To do that kind of building. When I'm looking at schools back home in Europe, in France, or even here in Canada. I mean, not quite as much in Canada actually. A lot of the schools kind of look the same here in Canada too. But um, like the high school I was in was not a high school to begin with.
Okay.
Uh, I think it was a convent or a prison
What?
or a
Oh
prison.
my god.
It was something like that, something weird.
All right.
I should actually Google that. And so, like, you wouldn't tell that it was a school from the outside unless you read the sign. And obviously, they already knew that it was a school because it was one of the biggest schools in my town. But like a lot of the schools back home are not built to be schools. They're like literally just older buildings that have been repurposed into schools. So like
Oh.
you find a whole lot different kinds of like looks for different schools. It's kind of unlike unlike Japan where it's very kind of uniformed.
Yes, they are. I'm not actually a fan of Japanese architecture, to be honest.
It's very
It's bland. Well, I don't know if that's the word, but it's kind of boring.
yeah.
Plain, mm, not even artistic. Or it's actually the irony of Japan because this country loves design. They love something colorful and unique, and yet their buildings are like,
Yeah.
really?
It
Still living in the 80s.
it is kind of it is kind of strange the way they have their buildings and the architecture. Like even in big cities, right? Like there are big high rises and stuff. They can I mean to be fair, it's high rises. Whole like a lot of the high rises kind of look the same, but like it's very I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Very uniform, very square, very like it just looks the same wherever you go, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
speaking of school buildings, let's talk about classrooms.
yeah. Okay, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
So, if you guys watch a lot of anime relating to classrooms, there's the good news to you. It's real. So, the anime scenes you see in classrooms are actually real. Do you have a picture, like a sample picture of the classroom?
I do have one right now. Yes.
Okay, and
Look at that.
let's
I'm on top of things.
yeah, so we have, we have the typical blackboard, the big windows, the tiny, tiny wooden chairs and tables, all in line, arranged in like, a very disciplined manner. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Being as Japanese as it is, I'm going to show them the picture that I took after school.
Yeah.
This is an actual picture of the school I work at this year. It's I'm not gonna tell what school it is, of course, for
Yeah.
its for security reasons. If you notice the tables and chairs are pretty much arranged in a different manner. That's because they are preparing for their culture. What do you call that? School. Oh my god, their culture day. There you go.
Okay.
They're preparing for their culture day. So all schools, usually in summer and autumn, are preparing for school festivals. There you go, school
Right.
festivals.
School festival.
And
Yeah.
after school, they have to, they have to prepare a lot of stuff like the props, the scripts, and all that. So they usually arrange their tables and chairs like that, so they have space on the floor to prepare for their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then the next day before they start their school, they rearrange it in the usual manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like the normal school days. Yeah, I also like to share the corridor. Is that corridor?
The
You call
hallway.
it corridor?
The
Yeah,
hallway.
thank you. Oh my god, I'm losing my
Okay,
English.
so I remember when you showed me that picture the first time, that actually literally blew my mind.
Really?
That actually blew my mind because so the picture I have on screen right now is one of the pictures you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
It is like it's basically a real life version of what you would see in anime. It's insane. It's insane.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
you can kind of get a view of inside the classroom right there, which is actually a lot closer than the one from the anime sample that we had earlier, where we can actually see the square tables are lined a little differently
Yeah.
than in the first picture. But like everything is just like you see them in anime. It's like that white corridor with the sliding doors, the big windows above the walls. It's crazy. It's actually crazy that the anime have like basically like copied 100% what schools look like in
Exactly.
the inside.
And if you notice the divisions of the classrooms, like section 1, 2, section
Mm-hmm.
1, 3, and sometimes it's in letters, like section 1A, section 1B.
Yeah,
This is real.
that's crazy.
100% real. Yeah. And the exciting part of that is that school posters like culture days or festivals or like watching movies and stuff or like basic school rules and obligations, most of the posters are actually designed where characters are involved, like real anime characters are
Right.
involved. Most of the common anime characters promoting school activities are Detective Conan.
Okay. All right.
This is because this is like still one of the most popular anime here in Japan until now.
It is.
And then and we also have the Attack on Titan.
Okay. Okay.
This
So the
is
big one.
this is
Although,
yeah, this is a big hit too.
it's kind of funny because I think we talked about it last time really briefly, but like Attack on Titan doesn't take place in school at all because of the setting of
Right?
the anime, right?
All the violence and shit.
It's super violent and it has like nothing to do with school or anything. Even though the characters themselves, I feel like they have like a very like the uniform they wear is kind of reminiscing of school uniform, I feel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but then you could make the parallel that a lot of the school uniforms in real life anyway are kind of, I don't want to say militaristic in nature, but kind of,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something I read somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but where someone was kind of comparing school uniforms in Japan to like when they were kind of trying to find the origins of the school uniform in Japan, and they found
Mm-hmm.
that it had a lot of military roots.
Oh.
Which is why like the guys' uniforms are designed this way, and which is why the girls' uniforms are designed this
Mm-hmm.
way as well. So I found that kind of interesting. But yeah, anyway,
Oh, I see.
back to your point, I'm guessing they're using like famous, maybe not famous, like popular anime and characters just so it's more relatable to the students, right?
Yeah, and it makes them feel like, oh, this character is like doing this. I should do this too,
Right.
kind of like thing. Yeah, I know a lot of people listening out there would be like, why isn't that a little immature? But that's how it is. I mean, it's very normal for Japan to have anime exposed.
Right.
Like, a lot of anime are being like the sponsors of products
Mm.
also. And they are treated as real life people, if that's the right word to describe that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Japanese people see anime characters as celebrities. So especially the younger audiences, they feel that anime characters are kind of real,
Okay.
like it's part of their life. So when they are promoting a product, the younger generation feel that, oh, so this character is promoting this, I should do the same, like that.
Yeah,
In fact,
it's
yeah.
kind of interesting because I mean, no, and the anime culture in Japan is a big thing, obviously, as we all know, because it's coming from there. But like it's a it's a day-to-day kind of thing for everybody living there, right?
Yeah.
Something we don't really have here. And it's interesting that what you say is that some of the characters in some of the anime are basically treated like celebrities
Yes, they are.
and used to endorse products or behaviors and stuff like that. Uh, Something that here in the West, and I don't know how it is in the Philippines, but here in the West, like you would see like actual celebrities do, right?
Yeah.
That's how you see like those actors and singers and stuff doing commercials and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. It's exactly the same in the Philippines. We don't really use, like, well, for one thing, we don't have our own, original characters or something.
right.
And it has something to do with copyright and so,
Hmm.
but we just normally look up at celebrities who promote stuff.
Right, right. That's how it works too here too. But actually, that makes me wonder because I don't know how it
Mm-hmm.
works, and maybe that's something we can like look into and talk about another day. But another day.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
like so they're using a lot of characters and a lot of anime and a lot of those things to
Mm-hmm.
to make their posters and to make their information boards and stuff like that. Like, how does that work in terms of copyright laws? Like, do they have licenses? Do they actually pay the studios and the creators to make those posters for school, or do they are they just like, was it someone in the school being like, oh fuck it, I just found this on Google and I'm gonna use it for my poster kind of thing? Like, how does that even work?
Oh,
I'd be
well, now that
I'd be
now
so
that you mention
curious.
that, well, to be fair, are not copyright issues are not really a thing in Japan
Hmm.
because anime is so overrated. Overrated maybe, or it's a
It's
very normal natural thing
yeah, it's everywhere.
that exists in the country. And for them, when people use that, well, the locals, that is,
Yeah.
when they use that to promote stuff, of course they have the permission from the makers of the anime. They of course they need that, because as what I've told you, anime characters and anything that has to do with animation are treated as celebrities. So they
Hmm.
are, the makers, the creators, sometimes the voicers of the characters,
Yeah.
if they are used, are paid for this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's quite a normal thing. And in fact, we ALTs, so we foreign teachers, also use worksheets with the main characters in it, the main anime characters in it. Like, it's
Okay.
it's kind of it's kind of interesting too, because I enjoy my job making worksheets, and like pasting Goku's picture on the worksheet and feel like it's normal. I mean, if I
That's
do that
funny.
I mean, if I do that in the Philippines, that would be like, oh God, she's like a trying hard otaku. She's so weird.
Right.
But in,
It's
but
like,
in
oh
Japan, it's
no.
not.
It's like, oh no, our teacher's a weeaboo.
Yeah, but in Japan, it's not. So this is something that we, like we foreign teachers enjoy, because we see anime as it's part of their lives, and it
Right.
has not people are not really bullied about it. So
Hmm.
in fact, most of the worksheets I do, like say for example, the English grammar is like, do you play baseball? Doraemon plays baseball as well. So
Oh.
we have to use we have to use usually we have to use anime characters so the students can relate. But don't get me wrong, not 100% of the students love anime.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's a natural thing. Like of course, there are a majority of them who enjoys it because it's like Americans seeing Disney characters in America. It's
Right.
just like that. Um, Not everyone appreciates anime, but because it's so naturally existing
Yeah.
in the country, they see it as, oh, it's an anime character. Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan of it, but I see it,
That's
so it's
that's
not a big deal.
that's the thing, right? It's like they don't have to necessarily enjoy it or like it because not everybody has their own taste, but they know about it because it's just everywhere. It's
Exactly.
it's everywhere and it's used for like pretty much anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It's kind of like looking at it for Disney characters here in North America and kind of in Europe as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's like everybody knows the Disney characters. They don't have to like Disney movies. Like I'm not a fan of Disney movies, but I know the characters. Like
Exactly, right?
if I see one of the characters pop up somewhere for a promotion or whatever for an advertisement, then I know who it is and
Mm-hmm.
I know how it relates to the ad itself.
Exactly. Oh, hold on. I'd like to talk about the sanitary
Yeah.
of Japanese schools. So, I think a lot of people have heard that students clean their schools.
Yeah, so that's a common thing we see in anime, right? Is that um, the students themselves clean their classroom after class.
This is true.
This is true.
This is true. So there are some janitors, like cleaning staffs in
Okay.
schools, but this is not very common. This is probably common in like really big schools. So
Hmm.
when I was in the countryside, there are no janitors
Okay. And
in the
so,
schools.
so what's the reason behind it? Do you think?
Well, the reason behind that is to expose children from being organized and to maintain cleanliness.
Okay.
And so this usually happens after lunch. So they have at least a 15 minute to 20-minute cleaning. It's a
After lunch?
after lunch, yeah. So they clean up, they swipe the floors,
Okay.
they clean they clean the erasers, they clear up the blackboards, they just literally clean
Okay.
15 to 20 minutes. And then, of course, after that, there's the school chime.
Yep.
Yeah, yes, it's also real. And then after school, yes, they also do club activities, and after the club activities, they also clean for 15 to 20
All
minutes.
right. Okay. So they do it twice a day then.
Yeah,
All right.
twice a day.
Interesting.
But again, it also depends on the school, because
Hmm.
if it's a small school, the students and the teachers usually do the cleaning. But if
Okay.
it's a huge schools that are very common in the cities, there are
Okay.
helpers, cleaners, people who do the cleaning on the rooftops and stuff like that. So this
Okay.
is much more common in the city. Yeah.
Right. But even though there are janitors, the students are still they still have to do some of that stuff, right?
Exactly. But actually, to be honest, the cleaners, the hired staffs in
Yeah.
schools are actually doing the job like 10%. I mean, they're not
Okay.
cleaning for the major part of the schools.
Hmm.
It's still the students and the teachers who do the cleaning more
Okay.
than the
All
cleaners
right.
and janitors and stuff like that. Now let's talk about the genkan. The genkan means the entrance of the school, where you take off your shoes and then wear your indoor shoes.
Right.
So I sent you a picture of that, where there is a it's a open cabinet. There you go.
Yeah.
Open shelves for the indoor shoes and the outdoor shoes. This is real, guys. This is real.
This is a thing. So everybody who goes to school takes off their street shoes and changes into indoor shoes.
Yes. The most common is that they call it uagutsu. Uagutsu literally means indoor shoes.
Okay.
And in some anime, they wear these kind of ladylike white sandals. It's true in some schools, but most of the schools I've worked at, they bring their own indoor shoes.
Okay.
In fact, most of the indoor shoes they wear are sneakers or rubber. Well, we call it rubber shoes in the Philippines. A lot of us would wonder why, among all the shoes, why not leather shoes? Why not more formal school shoes? But why sneakers? A lot of us questioned that when we were new here in Japan. The teachers explained to us it's for, what do you call this? It's for earthquakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, as we all know, Japan is known for, a lot of natural disasters such as earthquakes and typhoons and a lot.
Oh, hold on. I think I lost you there.
So this is the most comfortable footwear for the kids to be able to escape from the schools when there's an earthquake or something like that.
Okay.
So it's for safety reasons. Although to think about it, maybe for in the Philippines we do wear school uniforms, but we wear leather shoes and white socks.
Okay.
And
hold on.
For us Filipinos, if we were kind of like, yeah.
Hold on, you are cutting up a bit. My internet is jumping right now.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, I think we're back.
Okay, are we?
All right, I think we're back. Yeah, my internet kind of decided to take a quick nap there for a few seconds. Sorry.
Something is being trolling around. What is that proper English?
I don't know. I mean, we're having
someone is trolling around. There you go.
Yeah, we're having really bad weather right now. There's a lot of rain and a lot of wind, so it could be why.
Well, it's the same here. We're currently having a typhoon in the entire country. So it started. Yeah, it started last weekend from Kyushu, the southernmost part of Japan, where we're experiencing a typhoon right now, and it's rising to Chiba, which is a bit close to Tokyo, and it's going north to Hokkaido tomorrow.
Oh no.
Yeah, but we're gonna be fine.
All right, I hope so. So anyway, we're talking about shoes, and you were talking about, that's kind of when my internet was kind of crapping out. Like, I could hear you, but I don't think the stream could. They're wearing like kind of simple shoes and rubber shoes or sneakers and stuff like that because of earthquakes.
Yeah.
Because that's a real thing over there. Like that could basically happen anytime.
Exactly.
And so it's a matter of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like just in case, right?
Speaking of convenience, though, the what do you call this? The uniform indoor shoes, the brown one that looks like a grandpa slippers.
Yeah.
God. Yes, they are real and they are very uncomfortable.
Very,
very uncomfortable. Well, this is the funny thing. They're called slippers, right?
Yeah.
And they are literally slippery.
Oh, no.
So it's like, if you wear them, because you have to wear them if you're a visitor, right? So you, most of the time you have to wear them.
Okay.
If you bring indoor shoes, that would be great. But if you don't, you have to wear these terrible slippery shoes.
Oh,
and
no.
Unfortunately, for most of the foreigners who are the big size guys, big size girls.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for them because most of the indoor shoes are quite tiny.
Oh no! How does it work? Like what happens if like what happens if foreign dude comes in to like visit Japanese school or whatever, and the guy is like size 13, and all they have is like size 5 and 6.
Oh god. Well, that was one of the stories that my friends told me about. So he came from Philadelphia. Obviously he's American.
Yeah.
He's almost 6 point. No, he's 6 feet. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
6 feet, and he's a very tall guy.
Okay, that's me. I'm
With-
6 feet too, actually.
There you go. So you can imagine the size of your foot, right? And then so the first time he visited the school was, when he was being introduced to the main teachers. And so because it's like a week before the main or the actual job to teach in school, you have to meet the teachers. So he had to wear these tiny indoor shoes that are actually indoor slippers that are actually half the size of his foot. Oh my god.
Yeah, like it probably couldn't fit. Like, wouldn't it be better if you just walked bare feet?
No, he has to wear them.
Or just like walk around in socks. I mean, it would be the same thing.
It could be worse. Well, you are very well discouraged to not wear socks. You have to wear socks, right?
Well, okay, well, no, I get that. I understand. Like, I wouldn't be walking outside without socks either. But like then you should just walk in his socks instead of like wearing shoes like because I bet those shoes were literally half the size of his feet.
Okay, so here's the thing. So he went to the entrance, and the staffs were like, "Oh, we're sorry for the size of our indoor slippers, but please wear them no matter what." So he was like, "Really? Oh, okay, sure." So he dragged them, right? Can you imagine?
Oh,
he
no.
going upstairs dragging the slippers.
Dude, that must.
And he almost lost his balance from the stairs.
I don't doubt it. Dude, that must have been so painful for the guy.
He was so embarrassed. Oh my god. He was so embarrassed because he had to wear these granny fashion slippers. And he had to drag them up the stairs. And while he was dragging them, they were falling off from his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to pick them up and wear them again.
Dude, that must have been such a pain for him the whole time he was there. I mean, no,
Oh my god.
next time he'll know to bring his own. But oh man.
And not just that, it ruins your fashion, man. It ruins your fashion. Like you are all like groomed up, right? Blazer, necktie, you're wearing you're wearing the best thing that you got. And then there's in their granny slippers.
Oh no.
Oh god. Okay, that was a good laugh. But yes, guys, it's freaking real.
Oh man.
Freaking real.
Oh yeah. So advice to anybody visiting Japan who plans to go into a school: bring your own indoor shoes because they will not have your size.
You're gonna have to drag them up the stairs and watch them fall from your feet.
Just make sure, okay? Bring your an extra pair of shoes, like an extra pair of sneakers that you've never worn outside. Because
Okay. Now,
dude.
have we mentioned about the school charm though?
The school chime?
Yeah.
We have not. I mean, I played it at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, you did.
I can play it again.
I remember the time when. Yeah, please do that.
I
don't want to do that.
Oh, if the stream can head properly. You sent me the wrong version too.
It's was it working? Is it working?
It is.
Okay, there you go. I remember when you called me randomly, or was it I calling you? So I was I was in the locker room, and then I called you up. We just talked a little bit. And
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then the chime just came in, and I was like, "Oh, Florida, I'm sorry, I gotta go, cause like my next class is coming." And you were like, did I actually hear that chime? I only hear that in anime. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
real, man. It's real.
I remember that. Like I was mind blown. I was like, oh shit, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's actually a real thing. That's what they sound like. It's crazy.
Well, now that you mention it, on my first day in school, I felt like, dude, I am living in a real anime here. I am not kidding. Like, so the teachers recommended me, okay, on your first day of school, please wear a very smart, smart look, like, blazer and all that. So, I tried imitating, in a way, I tried imitating like a schoolgirl outfit. I wore
Mm-hmm.
a blazer. I wore this nice polo inside. I wore a skirt, like
Like
almost looked like a school skirt.
you became the enemy.
I know. So yeah, when I came in, right? So the main teacher introduced me. Okay, everyone, this is well, please welcome Jennifer. And oh my God, they were all staring at me, and I was staring at them. I'm like, oh my God, they're school uniforms. Oh my God, this is real. And I was looking at the classroom. I'm like, oh my God, this is like real. What? What? And the sliding door is like, what? Did I just do that? Did I just do that? And before that, of course, like I entered, the Genkan, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
my God, the indoor shoes. I'm like, what? Okay, hold
that's
on.
funny. Okay, about the shoes. So, like you said, they have shoes for visitors, but like for you, when you go to work, you have your own, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the teachers actually encouraged me to bring my own. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So do you have a locker or something with just for
Yes.
you where you can put your stuff in there?
Yes.
So
So
like so like
mm,
do you do like you see in some anime like
mm-hmm.
like you actually go to that room or to the locker room and then you go into your locker and then you take out your indoor shoes and you put them on the
Yeah.
ground and then you just change
Mm-hmm.
shoes and then you put your real shoes back into your locker and then you close it like is that a thing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm an anime myself. What?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's real. It's real. What else is real? Oh. So on my first day, right, you can see like the typical personalities of the kids. Some of them
Right.
are sleeping, some of them are drawing manga, some of them are really into you because like some of them really likes foreigners, some of them don't like foreigners. This is real. This is real.
It's like you find like the stereotypes of schoolgirls and
Yeah,
schoolboys that you see in anime, like they
exactly.
do exist in real life.
Yes, they do. I'm not saying that 100% of what's happening in anime is real,
Obviously, yeah.
but yeah, there a part of them is like that we have the nerds, as every school has. Yes, we have nerds. And by the way, I noticed that they do this thing like holding their glasses with their middle fingers. Dude, they do that, and I'm like, oh my God, what? Did I just see that?
Hold
What?
on, hold on. I think I have a gift for that. I have a gift for that.
What the hell? What? Yeah, I don't know, but they just do that. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're Japanese or whatever. Like if the reflection of the sun from the window reflects from their
Right?
glasses, I couldn't see their eyes anymore, like in the anime.
That's funny.
I'm like, oh my God, did I just see that? I'm not exaggerating here. Like sometimes it's real, especially if I ride the train and the kids were like looking at their phones,
Yeah.
and like if I couldn't, like if their bangs are too long and they got this, like the typical eyeglasses that you see in anime,
Hmm.
yeah, their posture are exactly the same. I'm like,
That's funny.
what?
It's funny. I,
Yeah.
I can't find the gift I have for it, but yeah, I'm sure everybody
What?
knows.
Shame on you.
I know, I
Oh
know.
wait, I have to mention the principal. I have to mention the principal.
Okay, the principal. What's about the principal?
Okay, so in anime, most of the principals are wearing glasses, right?
Right.
And they're like, either they are very quiet or very noisy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're like the bossy type. Ladies and gentlemen, they are real. So it's kind of funny. So the principal is
Principles,
called, yeah.
principles are real. Oh man, we learned something today.
I mean, they are, of course, they exist, but the stereotype appearance of principals are like, I would say 95% real because probably
That's funny.
5% of them don't have glasses. But dudes,
Yeah,
most of the principals are wearing freaking glasses, and I'm like, what?
that's funny. It's interesting to me to see that like so much of real life is actually portrayed in anime when it comes to schools. It's pretty insane because when you look at, when you think of anime, like it's all kind of fantastical, right? It's like it's made up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy things happening, like obviously not real stuff happening. Even though some anime kind of try to deal with subject matters that are you know more down to earth and more real.
Yeah.
Um, but like when it comes to the structure itself, it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
basically copied from real life, and the differences you see in anime compared to real life is really just kind of like I don't want to say minor things, but
Mm-hmm.
like things are changed in a way to maybe make it more interesting for the anime.
Right.
That's how you
Mm-hmm.
find like no the uniform for the girls being way shorter than they should be in real life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you find like all the anime girls having like bright colored hair and like fancy
Yeah.
things, which is from what I've read is that's not something you see in schools. Like colored hair, it's like they're really strict about that. You can't color your hair like any weird colors, which is why most of the girls and guys have like black hair or brown hair.
Well, that's the thing about anime and, the difference about anime and real life. Because usually the mangakas or the creators of the manga or comics or anime, they do these characters like they create characters that don't actually exist because this is like their imagination. This is their fantasy.
Yeah, and it's also to make it more interesting, right? Because I mean, like let's be honest, school is it's boring. Like school in real
Yeah.
life is boring, right? Like I'm not saying like school for you is boring because it's your job and you're teaching kids, so like I'm sure you'll find
Well, they are boring.
and like I'm sure you find your enjoyment.
Okay.
But like but school as a student, it's like ugh, you have to be here. You don't have a choice, and there's all
Yeah.
like there are all those rules and structures, especially in Japan. Like you can't do this, you can't do that. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
your the length of your skirt is measured. It can be too high, it can be too low. Maybe I guess it's better if it's too low than too high. But uh, like all those things, so like seeing like those differences in anime is really just a way to kind of like bypass that and make it interesting because like how would you make a story about those characters and like spend their time like half their time in school and you have to show them as like boring ass students like they're in real life. Like nobody would like that anime, right?
Exactly. But I also think because I'm also a mangaka. I
Mm,
mean, not a popular type, but I do. I do make comics from slice of life, and in my own experience, I create stories that are a bit related to my life in the Philippines,
right.
but also has this imagination of like, what if this happens
Mm,
in the Philippines? So I have made a manga called English Please, which was actually colored by you, Florent. Thank you so
I
much.
remember that.
Yeah, it's a story about this lady who teaches English in like to foreigners, and she's actually most of the characters are from school. And what I did was I created school uniforms that don't actually exist in the Philippines.
Right.
Like the Japanese designs uniforms. And this is my fantasy. This is something that I wish could happen in the
Mm,
Philippines. And this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of mangaka do the same thing. Like they create weird hair or
right.
non-existent hair, uniforms that are almost unreal,
Mm.
um, personalities, extreme personalities
Yeah.
of characters.
It's I mean it's part of making a story and a world around the story like more
Exactly.
interesting, because that would be no point making a story, whether it is in the manga or an anime, that just like 100% reflection of real life. Like nobody wants that. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
we're living real life 24/7. We don't need this in our anime and movies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the appeal of that media.
Mm-hmm. And actually, a lot of my online students from other countries, such as Taiwan, because they know that I work here in Japan.
Mm,
Some of them ask me like, "Are Japanese students really nice? Are they proper? Are they well mannered?" Well, guess what? Most of them aren't,
yeah.
sadly. Um, I don't know how it is in new anime right now, like what you see in Japanese anime right now in schools, but with this current school I'm working at, oh my god. So I work at two schools, and the other one is really terrible. Like
Oh,
seriously terrible. I mean, I'm not saying that they are like 100% bad, but most of the kids are really ill-mannered.
okay.
Um
Which is
this actually
which is
what,
interesting, because it's not something you would expect from
right?
Japanese people.
Because as if we the stereotype of Japan is, like well mannered, quiet, polite. Unfortunately, this is not true everywhere,
Mm,
especially in the city. So I this is my first year working at schools in the cities, and I
right.
was shocked because the kids are really rude. They're really rude. They're racists, and the more foreign you are, the more they would not talk to you.
It's interesting. But like they they act like this mostly towards uh people that are not from there, right? Like I would
Yeah.
like how do they act with their actual Japanese teachers? Like they're just very typical Japanese, right?
Oh,
I'm
well,
guessing.
it's the same. It's
Is
the
it?
same because there was one time I observed in one of the classrooms, and they were just as rude as how they are with me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like, sometimes they
It
name names to their
Oh,
teachers.
it kind of reminds me to go back to the very beginning of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Evangelion,
Uh-huh.
all those scenes that happen during class when they're having class, where the teacher basically is completely ignored. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if you remember from them, but like the teacher is sitting at the desk and doing his lecture, and like nobody pays attention to him. They just talk to each other. Like there's like drama going on in the room, like in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom, and the teacher just like is completely ignored. Like nobody cares about him. Like
It's real.
it
It
kind
exists.
it kind of reminds me of that. It's interesting.
Yeah. Although, well, there are some scenes in anime that I've watched where they just they just beat up the kids in random,
Right. Right.
sometimes it
Oh,
happens.
what's that anime shit? Oh, how's it called? Where like they have that weird teacher is an alien. It
What?
look fudge. Someone in the chat helps me. Help me in the chat. Is that so? Is that teacher from another planet? And like he has like a weird, big, round, smiley face of a head.
Is it like, the smiley face? Like
Yeah.
the yellow. I don't know the anime though, but
Oh,
I've seen
oh,
it.
Assassination Classroom. I think that's the one.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Tell me about it.
like that's okay. So I've seen a few episodes of that,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like the complete opposite, where the teacher will literally like beat up the kids because
Whoa!
because the whole point of that
I should
class,
watch that.
the whole point of
Mm-hmm.
that class of that class,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually sanctioned by the Japanese government, because
Uh-huh.
okay, so like
What?
yeah, because like the whole premise of the anime, the way I understand it from what I've seen, like I don't like, please people don't quote me on this, okay, don't get mad if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand. So this alien is coming to Earth, and
Okay.
like is like I don't know how he becomes a teacher, but it basically is like like you have this much time to try and
Mm.
kill me, and
Oh wow.
if you can't, I will destroy you all,
Oh wow. I gotta watch this anime then.
kind of thing. And so the whole premise of the anime is like the kids are being trained to kill him and encouraged to kill him. So they
What?
always try like to shoot at him and all that stuff, and he's defending himself, but at the same time he's their teacher and teaching them like regular things that you would learn at school. And at the same time, so like his goal is to survive so he can destroy the planet. But at the same time, he's being super nice to the kids and teaching them like valuable life lessons
What?
and stuff. It is so weird. It is so weird.
I think it has something to do with anti-bullying, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. So,
Speaking of which, I like to also mention about bullying.
hmm,
So, as we all know, our favorite character, Ikari Shinji, is
crybaby.
is one of the bullied main characters.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, bullying is very common in schools in the entire world.
It is,
But
yeah,
yeah,
sadly.
but there are very unique reasons why people bully in Japan.
Hmm.
In fact, they bully teachers too. I'm one of them. I'm one of the bullied
Uh-oh.
teachers. But
So,
anyway, I'm gonna
yeah,
have to talk about that later.
yeah, we'll have to talk about this. But yeah, someone in the chat says that there's a heavy anti-bullying message in Assassination Classroom. Like that's one of the
Oh wow.
messages about the anime itself, which is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I haven't watched the whole thing. Like literally, I've seen maybe like 2 or 3 episodes of it. Like it looks like it's crazy. It's actually crazy. Like it's in the design and stuff. Like, but I guess it would be interesting to watch.
I would definitely watch that. I mean, I feel bad that I'm not watching anime these days, but I guess it's gonna be one of my goals this year before
Yeah.
it ends. But yeah, regarding bullying, so it's again, it's also a common thing. Although I have never really witnessed it in my experience teaching here. I did learn from other teachers that they have seen like actual bullying
Yeah.
from schools where the one of the bullied are actually just been beaten up randomly during class.
Oh, that's not good.
And I was shocked about that because the first school that I worked at in Kyogoku in the countryside, we rarely have any cases like that, but
Hmm.
it's real. Extreme bullying also happens. For some of the reasons is because they are poor,
Okay.
they or they are just really quiet, they're not friendly, or this student loves anime too much that they just talk about anime or anything related to anime. They are bullied too. So it's just
So
like
like,
any other. Yeah,
yeah, it's basically like it's something that's not so different from what we see in other places in the world, right? Like
exactly,
we see the
exactly.
same things here, and for kind of the same reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would say one of the differences between Japan and here is that here people are becoming more aware of it and fighting it more. Like
Yeah,
you will see a lot of anti-bullying campaigns and uh, teachers and institutions trying to bring it up and make sure that kids are okay, that it doesn't happen, that so they know that this is not okay to do that kind of stuff, right? And
exactly.
I don't know how it is in Japan, if it's like more of a social norm that's more accepted, or if like they're actually trying to do something about it, if they're trying to fight it. I don't know if I want to spend too much time on that, or if I want to talk about it in another episode. But
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't know.
I think we should talk about this. Yeah, this because I care about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a bullet teacher as well. Oh god,
Hmm.
oh god.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
You need to bring out a dramatic music for that. Yeah.
it's hard for you too, right? Because you're not Japanese, you come from somewhere else, and like you're still learning the language yourself,
Yeah.
and like
Mm-hmm.
having those kids kind of lack the respect for the teacher, which is really surprising in itself when you think of Japanese culture, because
Mm-hmm.
like they're so rigid in the way things are done and things are made, right? In terms of
Yeah.
hierarchy and structure and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like respect your elders and like the way, just the way they talk to people, right? Like how they have those honorific suffixes to the names, and there's a sense, and how they had like all those things like san, senpai,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Yeah. Senpai
sensei,
kohai, yeah, relationship, yeah.
right? Like all those things. Like there is like at its base, there's a certain structure and level of respect that is expected.
Well, I'd like to discuss about that in the later,
Yeah.
in the later episodes, because there's a lot of truths and myths about those things,
Right.
and I'd like to share that for my personal experience living here, because it's already my 5th year in Japan, almost my 5th year.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and I have quite a lot of experiences dealing with culture and the should I say segregation
Right.
between foreigners and the locals. But yeah, let's get back to two of the last things that I like to
Yep.
mention about Japanese schools. One of them is the kabedon.
Kabedon, what is that?
So kabedon means kabe is for wall and don means the sound effect of like banging on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, so I sent you a picture of kabedon. So this is very
Oh, that thing. Okay, all right, all right, all right.
this is very popular in Japanese anime, especially on the shoujo, on the girl story anime.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask me about this. Is it real? I would say it is and it is not. Okay, that's kind of confusing answer, right?
I don't
So,
like, just,
okay.
like it feels weird to me. Like if it is real, it feels weird to me. Like I don't know. I don't want to say it makes me uncomfortable, but it kind of does because like I feel like this is kind of a like no, as a tactic for a guy to hit on a girl. I feel like this is kind of intimidation. And like I don't know how I feel about it, but anyway, is it like does that kind of stuff happen, or is it just kind of a meme?
Okay, for those people who don't really understand what kabedon is, because for me this is also a new word. So this happens when a guy wants to hit on a girl, or the girl really likes the guy and she couldn't express it, and then there's the rumor saying, oh, hey guy, this girl really likes you, and the guy was like, oh, I'm handsome, I need to do the kabedon thing. and then they do the kabedon thing.
They do the kabedon thing. Like it's a.
Gotta do the kabedon thing.
Oh, oh, baby, it's a dirty act there. Let's do the kabedon thing, girl.
Okay, so it is real and it is not. So let's go with the it is real. It is real because it happens in schools. Usually this happens in the lower grades, like the first year middle schools.
Okay.
Yeah, like the 13-year-olds, the 14-year-olds, but not maybe the 15-year-olds. Sadly, the guys do that. Guys to guys, they do that out of comedy,
Yeah, like at this point, it's more of a meme than an actual thing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, like, I remember when I was about to enter one of the classrooms and the girls were like doing the kabedon. I was like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Teacher, don't you know this is kabedon?" And I was like, "What is kabedon? What is kabedon?" And then one of the main teachers who speaks in English, he was like, "Oh, the kabedon, oh, that thing, ha!" And I was like, "Please explain me what that is." And he explained it to me, and he was like, basically, it originated in a romantic novel.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, it became popular. It was inspired by a lot of anime, and then yeah, the students started imitating them. That's why my answer is it's real and it's not. It's real because kids do that. Well, young teenagers do that for fun.
Right, like
and
it's kind of a it's kind of a thing, but like not a serious kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's not like done in a dramatic kind of way like it's shown in anime or like manga and stuff like that. Where it's like when it's done in an anime or a manga, like it has like serious implications for the characters, right? It's like, oh shit,
exactly.
that's like relationship development there. It's like, oh shit,
my God.
something's about to happen, dude. That guy is about to tell the girl he has a crush on her. And then the girl's gonna be like, but senpai, we can do this.
But yeah, for those who are, who have not been to Japan and thinking that kabedon is real, it's real in a way that they do it for fun. It's not real because they don't do it in a way to court or make a relationship with another
Right.
person.
Right.
The funny thing is that I've seen my kids do the kabedon, but the funny thing is that it's a girl to girl and a guy to girl. No, guy to guy.
That's funny.
It's probably because they cannot do that with the opposite sex. Because
Right.
number one, we all know that majority of the Japanese people are very shy. They
Mm.
cannot really truly express their feelings, and if they do, it's all out of a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't do this seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
guys, sorry.
Yeah, like I said, it's like it's kind of a meme at this point for them. Just
It
like
is.
just having fun.
Yeah. And then the last among the before we finish everything up, the last part, the rooftop.
Oh, the rooftop shit,
The
right?
rooftop, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the rooftop.
Mhm.
Do I have a picture of a rooftop? I don't know if I do. Hold on, I think I do somewhere in one of the articles you gave me. Yes, so let's talk about the rooftops because that's something we see a lot in the anime, right? Especially when there's a little bit of drama and romance between characters. Like someone said in the chat, everything important happens on the rooftop, which is something you see.
What? How important is that?
Well, I mean, like, right? That's something you see a lot of in Can I zoom in there? Okay, let me save that image
Well,
first.
while you're zooming that, I'd like to share things about that.
Okay, so like I was saying, a lot of the stuff that happens on rooftops in anime is like kind of like part of the development of characters or the story, right? Like people hang out there, they meet up there when they want to talk about something special, like they have their lunch up there, like there's like that's kind of like sometimes you see where the relationship kind of develops between the guy and the girl kind of thing. Like you see a lot of that happening, or like if one of the characters is having a hard time, like he's going on the rooftop just to think about life and shit. Like how like is that a thing? Is that actually a thing in real schools?
All right, to answer the question, ladies and gentlemen, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. Okay, to give an explanation of that, number one, it's prohibited, like capital P, prohibited, for students to actually go on top of the rooftop because for the main reason, this is an exposure to suicide. I am not kidding, Florent. This is a serious thing.
I know you're not kidding. It's just the way you said it. I thought it was funny.
What? But yeah, okay. I need to explain that. So
okay, it's like make sure you don't go on the roof because you could be tempted to kill yourself.
But as we all know, suicide is a real thing in Japan.
It
is real.
It is actually a very serious thing in Japan.
It's a very serious thing. So guys, please don't make a joke out of it. Suicide is real in Japan. So unfortunately, the rooftop thing is not real. This is just the creator's imagination because as we all know, there are so many prohibited things.
Right.
To do in schools, like you are not allowed to wear this kind of thing. You're not allowed to color your hair. You are not allowed to eat bubble gum. You are not allowed to chat during class. All of these are prohibited. That's why the creators of the manga that we usually see in the scenes, the rooftop scenes, these are all their imaginations because it's like the more prohibited it is, the more they put it in manga scenes or anime scenes because this is the fantasy where they're like, oh, we wish that this would be true. We wish that this exists because this is like our freedom of speech kind of thing. And as you said, everything and from the chat it says everything happens in the rooftop because every fantasy happens in the quote unquote rooftop because this is prohibited.
Yeah. That's one of the things you see a lot in anime, right? It's like it basically portrays a lot of the stuff that people are not able to do in real life because either because of actual laws and constraints or because of social stigmas and stuff like that. That's kind of why anime sometimes can be kind of wild compared to what it is in real life. Because I mean, let's face it, uh, being a student in Japan is not exactly exciting.
Exactly.
It's
Sadly, it's not.
like it's not the way you see it in anime and manga where everybody's happy and like there's all that drama going on
Yeah,
and it's really not. It's basically kids go to school and then they have boring classes and they clean the classroom and
exactly.
then they go home.
And to share the story with you guys, I remember we were talking about school uniforms in English class, and we were comparing school uniforms from the Philippines and Japan. And I was surprised, like literally surprised, because I was telling my kids, I don't like Philippine school uniforms because they're boring, they're plain white, and just everything is checkered. It's so long, white socks and leather skirt, leather shoes. And I was surprised because they were like, Jennifer Sensei, it's pretty. And I was like, what? No, it's not. It's disgusting. My school uniform is terrible. And I was double shocked. Yes, I call it double shocked
Double shocked.
because they were like, but teacher, we don't like our uniforms. And I was like, what? Your uniforms are cool. That's why I'm here. I was inspired to go to Japan because of. No, that's not real. But anyway. Okay, I'm exaggerating.
I only went to Japan.
Exaggerating.
I only went to Japan because I'm a goddamn weeb and I wanted to just live the life of an anime.
Unfortunately, some of the teachers are not like that, and are like that, and I don't want to name names, but yes. Anyway, okay, I don't want to ruin any reputation of the teachers here, but most of them do. They come to Japan to teach English, and for only 10%, but 90% they just want to be like,
That's funny.
anime.
Ken in the chat says I would too.
See,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Goddamn weeb, Ken.
Hey, I don't want to be, I don't want to be against people who are Japanimaniacs or, people who love anime. I love anime. I like school life. It's very interesting.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually have anything against anime. I used to be a weeb myself. Okay, I'm not quite as much.
Oh my god! I don't want to talk to you. You're a weeb. No, just kidding.
Not as much today. It's mostly because I don't have as much time to actually keep track of what's going on.
Well, speaking of which, we're doing overtime now, so we need to wrap up.
We are actually doing. Oh shit, we're almost like an hour and a half. One little thing. So someone in the chat earlier asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it again.
Oh my god. Okay, while you're finding it, maybe I can talk a little bit.
All right. So the question was: are the relations between the teacher and the student in the real life much like it is in anime about school life?
It's yes and no.
Yes and no.
So it's yes because as we see in anime, they're like a little strict or a little like friendly together. That's the true part.
Okay.
But the false part is that you cannot be rude to your teachers.
Right.
You cannot. You cannot talk back to your teachers. You cannot like even touch them. You cannot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, touching is not really. It's not really a thing in Japan, I guess.
It's a thing after school, but during school, you're not allowed to touch your teachers. You're not allowed to be close to them, like close in a way that if the teachers talk to you, you have to have a what do you call that? Like a pace. Like you need to be at least a few inches away from your teacher. I know it's actually a culture shock for me because being Filipino, we're very close to people. We love talking. We love smiling at people, and it was a deep shock for me because my co-teachers told me, okay, you need to have a little bit distance between the teacher between the students and you, because let's face it, you're a foreigner, you need some space, and the kids are not really used to foreigners, so you need to have a little bit of distance in there. I felt disappointed and sad at the same time because it's like it's my opportunity to to learn more about the kids, to be friends with them. Unfortunately, we cannot be friends with the kids.
Yeah.
because it has something to do with their security. Like, if your relationship becomes deeper, it becomes
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yeah.
really appropriate.
It's not okay. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so it's a yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's the only question I had. I think everything else that was kind of talked about in the chat, we kind of touched to that, so we're pretty good
Okay.
with that. Was there anything you felt like adding? Let's see. I'm gonna look at my little list there that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we pretty much touched to everything we had right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anything?
For the next episode, I'd like to share what we're going to talk about.
Sure, let's go.
Unfortunately, we will only have one episode for October, and it is something to do with superstitions and beliefs in Japan.
Superstitions and beliefs, ghost stories and monsters.
I am thinking about whether I can handle the ghost stories part, but yes, I will try.
Dude, I'll make some research and I'll pretend that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that will be one of the topics. And by the way, I would also like to share my story about living in an apartment and, feeling some strange or
Oh baby.
back in the countryside. Yeah,
Oh
I have some
no.
experiences, yeah.
Oh no.
Fortunately I
Did you
didn't really
did you get visited by the big balls tanuki?
Well, I have seen a lot of tanuki though.
You've seen a lot of tanuki, so
I've seen a lot of tanuki,
do they
yeah.
actually have that big of a balls?
Unfortunately, no, and
No.
no, but they're kind of cute, to be
Okay.
honest.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Okay. Okay. What are you doing looking at monsters' balls?
What?
No.
That's you.
Oh, that's true. That's me.
You love balls.
I do like balls.
Okay, that's probably it that I like to share.
I think that's gonna be it today. All right, guys. We're gonna end here today. If you are watching this on YouTube or listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, you can find us live once in a while. We don't really have a super set schedule, but I usually post on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere when we go live or when we plan to go live, so you can follow us on social media there. I will have all the links in the description below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun for us, and I guess we will see you all on the next one. Bye, Jenny.
Yes, goodbye, Florence, and goodbye to every one of you. Thanks for watching and listening to us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.